Hi! Today I'm talking about math. And I thought it'd be fun to talk about polynomials. Now, here's a trick that I learned that has kind of helped math be a little easier for me. Being a very English person, I figured out, or I stumbled across the fact, that just like English, where we have letters and phonics and word families and words and sentences and paragraphs, math is the same way. Math has numbers and counting and facts, and then we move into formulas. That all math is a language, just like English. And if we learn the language of math, and we understand that math is a process, not about the product, then math all of a sudden becomes a lot easier to understand. At least it did for me. So in looking at polynomials, we're going to take a small section of it. We're going to look at binomials. So binomials, and one of the tricks with binomials is how to figure them out. So I'm going to write a binomial problem, for example. So binomial problem I'm going to write down for today is 7x plus 9. And then in another parentheses, it's going to be 3x minus 11, or negative 11. Well, now the way that this is set up, and if you remember all of our formula rules so far, right? 7x plus 9, that's happening in there. We have 3x minus 11, that's what is happening in that neighborhood. Now the parentheses means that we're multiplying these two together. Well, how are we going to do that? And what order do we do? And what is the order of operation, and how do we make that work? Well, there's a little acronym that you can use with binomials that'll help you figure that out. And it's called FOIL. Like foil, like what you barbecue with, or aluminum foil. Okay, well, not like that. So FOIL, what's the first letter in FOIL? Okay, F, and F is first. Okay, first. Now, what we're going to look at in our binomial is what comes first in the binomial. Well, the 7x comes first, so we're going to put a little f on top of that. And the 3x comes first, so we're going to put a little f on top of that. So if we think about the word foil, what comes next after foil? O. Okay, so then we have an O. And then what's next is outside. What's happening on the outside of our problem? What's happening on the outside of our problem? Well, on the outside of the parentheses, right, we have the 7x and we have the negative 11. Because we're going to be multiplying these, we can see this now as a negative 11. So then we have FOIL. What's next? FOIL. I. Very good. And I stands for inside. Inside. So what's happening on the inside of our equation or our formula? Well, we have a 9. We have a positive 9. And we have a 3x. So we're just going to make little bookmarks right here. We have an I here and an I here to remind us what's happening on the inside. And then our last letter in FOIL is ul. And I gave the word away when I said it, last. What's happening last in our math equation? Well, what's last in the parentheses is the positive 9 and the negative 11. So now that we've got our formula all marked up, now we know what to take apart and solve. So first, let's start with first. So we have 7x times 3x. And that's going to equal, right, 21x. Now here we have an x times an x. Do you remember how we show x times x? Right, it's an exponent. So we put our little exponent 2 up there to make sure that we show that now we've got 21x squared, right? So now we look at the next thing. We have our outsides. What's our outsides? So our outsides is 7x. And then I'm going to put, and then always make sure, and then times -11. And it's good to kind of carry the parentheses along with you. That way you make sure that you're not confusing it, because it's not -11. We're multiplying 7x times -11. All right, so that's going to be 7 times -11 is, right, 77. But we need to remember to bring along the negative, because it's a -77, and the x. Now, do we need to put an exponent on that x? You're right. No, because it's 1, and we can just imagine that there's a 1 above there. Next, we have inside. What numbers are inside in our FOIL? We have 9, right, times 3x. And 9 times 3x is 18. Good job, everybody. 18x. And lastly, we have 9 times, here I'm going to use that parentheses again to remind myself that we're still multiplying, times a -11, and that's going to equal, right, -99. So now that we've taken this, we've had this one problem, we've taken it all apart, now we can write our equation down at the bottom. So I'm going to take my black pen. Let's see what equation we can come up with. So now what we have is we take all of our answers from our FOIL. We have 21x squared -77x plus 18x minus 99. And that equals. Now, can we simplify that? Is there a way that we can make that shorter, right? Well, what do we have in common? We only have one x squared, but we do have 2 x's that are on their own. So we have a -77 and we have a +18, right? Okay, so what do you think that would be? Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to simplify this down. So we're going to do 21x squared minus, we're going to subtract 77. So -77 plus a +18 gives us, right, a -59x. And then we have a -99 equals. And that right there is our answer. And that is the amazing result of binomials and FOIL. Have fun!